Hello everyone, welcome back to the GameSpot stage here at E3 2016. Joining myself and Scott Butterworth on the couch today is Jason, who's a lead writer on Agents of Mayhem.
Lead writer.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, GameSpot. Thank you, Airhead Bites, for having me on.
We didn't ask him to say that.
No, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. How could you not be?
How could I not
Chewy,
be?
delicious.
They fit in a pocket.
They do, and they match your shirt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I planned this.
This is official Volition purple.
You have your own, like, Cadbury. Cadbury has a purple. Volition has a purple.
We have a purple. Don't bring up the Cadbury purple.
I can't
it's
even
a very
tell
sensitive subject.
I'm so sorry. I'm British, though. I had to.
The purple war runs deep.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, all right. Let's talk a little. No. Let's talk a little. Speaking of Saints Row, excellent segue.
Thank you.
The end of Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
Okay, the guys, they've defeated an alien invasion.
Spoilers.
Well, I mean, you need to play that game if you haven't already. But, like there was a big simulation thing.
Yeah.
There was don't want to miss a thing on a rocket. There was the president. There was, there was the whole.
Yes.
Oh,
where the hell do you go from there?
Well, you go to Gat Out of Hell, which followed the events of SR4.
Yeah.
And then you go to Agents of Mayhem, which is a brand new IP from Deep Silver Volition, but it is part of the larger Saints Row universe.
Right.
So we bring over elements and fan favorite things into AOM.
Hang on, is that Johnny Gat confirmed? Oh.
Ooh, that was a long silence.
Airhead Bites. No, we I think that was smooth. That was
good.
Improv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what elements? Try to segue. Let's save this guy. He's gonna bring us back.
Okay.
What elements from Saints Row? Given that it is the team that created Saints Row,
right?
What kind of gameplay similarities can we expect between the two games?
Well, Volition's special sauce, right, is we make third-person open-world action games that are fun, funny, over the top. Agents of Mayhem brings that. And along with a cast of really colorful characters, and so it's still a lot of humor, a lot of character-based humor, a lot of ridiculous situations. I think in some ways we go even bigger and crazier than the Saints Row series ever did.
Are you
That's a
talking to
bold
me?
claim because Saints Row got pretty big and pretty crazy.
It did, but we have some amazing things in the works.
So now we have sort of like I don't know how you would necessarily describe your characters, but it seems like the sort of secret agent types.
We call them super agents, amoral super agents with license to do whatever it takes to save the world from the supervillainous organization known as Legion. Mayhem and Legion is a global fight. But Agents of Mayhem takes place in Seoul, South Korea, which is Legion is establishing a presence, trying to grab all the technology there because it's the center of technology in the AOM universe, and Mayhem is going to stop them.
But how are they going to do that?
That is a good question.
With a lot of guns.
Right.
And but also special abilities and what we call Mayhem abilities that are unique to every agent, and they allow you to do some really crazy things, control the battlefield, really kind of throw a wrench in the works.
So how does the game kind of play out? Is it like a multiplayer, or is it keep playing single player?
It's a single-player open-world experience. It has a main story, but lots and lots of stuff in the open world. Legion is constantly dropping doomsday devices all over the street, messing up people's day, making them late for work. Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of different characters here. Can you customize your own character? Or are you playing as a cast of characters?
You're playing as a cast of characters. We have 12 agents and Agents of Mayhem. You take 3 of them out into the field as a squad. You can swap between them really quickly. It's just a press of the D-pad, and you can change. And that allows you to create synergies between the different abilities. As far as customization, it's a lot of upgrades. Every agent has a unique upgrade path. You can specialize their special ability. You can give them passive abilities, stuff like that. And then we have some skin customization as well.
So you mentioned you can change, there's 3 of them out on the battlefield at once. Can you give like orders to the AI, or is it just...
No, you switch to them.
Right.
So you have control over every agent. So if you want to set them up, Fortune, she has a drone named Glory, and her Mayhem ability launches Glory out, and then Glory just sends all this electricity out there and stuns the bad guys. And then you can immediately switch to, say, Hardtack, who has a shotgun and can run in and just lay waste to them.
Awesome. So you mentioned it's in Seoul. Is that like how much of a big departure from Steelport is it for you guys? Do you have to I assume you have to create it from the ground up?
Yeah, well, Steelport and Stillwater were based on the iconic American cities, or at least the ideas of iconic American cities. Seoul, South Korea is, we take it to next step into the future. This game takes place after Legion launched a global simultaneous attack against the world. And Seoul is rebuilding, and they are the most technologically advanced city in the AOM universe. And so building it, the big difference is it's very colorful. The entire game is very colorful. Colorful characters take a lot of inspiration from comics and cartoons. We bring that over visually as well as in the style of the characters. So as you're running around, you're going to see a mix of traditional temples right next to very futuristic high-rises, and it all has a flavor of Seoul, South Korea that our interpretation in the AOM universe.
So there's 12 characters. Does that mean there's like 12 different paths? Is there different interactions, different...
We want people to have the agents they adore. And as lead writer, a big thing for me is I want someone who absolutely loves a character to not feel like, oh, I got this character later, so I'm not having as much fun, or I don't get to see as much because, I got them however many hours after I got another one. I want them to be like, I love this character, and when I play as this character, I get just as much quality content. I get just as much of experience as every other agent.
So you don't get them all from the very beginning, you kind of unlock them as you go?
That's correct.
Right.
To build on what Lucy was asking, I think, so does the story or dialogue change depending on who you bring into a mission with you?
It does. It changes who you are currently acting as. The dialogue changes. Who you have in the squad that you're not currently being, that changes. And then there's banter. There's a lot of banter in between the agents. So you take people out and they have relationships, or some agents get along really well, some don't. Some have some have history that isn't always the best. And so you get to explore, I call it an office comedy, because it's so character-based and it's all about people who have to work together. And, I'm sure you co-workers.
Oh, we all hate each other.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I mean, before the
here.
segment, it was, it's really tense in this room.
Do you hear her accent? It's really funny.
Yeah,
He's making me used to it.
Right?
Oh,
I'm joking. Come on.
what I loved about in the Saints Row games, obviously in Saints Row 4, the big, the mocking send-up of, the BioWare romances. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Is there going to be some inter-office love and relationships?
I think you can expect that, yes.
All right.
I believe you can. And you mentioned Saints Row is known for lovingly referencing elements of pop culture, right? We're in on the joke with the player. Agents of Mayhem continues that. We bring over a lot of pop culture, superheroes, comics, cartoons, and we bring the gamer in with us because we're all in on this together, and we treat it so lovingly.
So does it get a little crass and inappropriate like Saints Row? I mean, there's a few memorable weapons and things like that.
Yeah.
We had a real life one of those in the office.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh.
Let's talk about that.
Talk about what? Sorry, what?
Oh, yeah, what? I'm sorry.
What?
Yes, every agent has a different personality. Some of them, such as Rama, very stoic, very dry, gallows sense of humor, and then you have other agents who are quite crass, who aren't beyond slapping their coworkers on the butt.
Was that kind of liberating to have all these different characters to write for, as opposed to having just one central hero that was kind of carrying the entire experience?
It really was, and we have a global cast of characters. So we have all different nations and belief systems and viewpoints, and so it's great to build a new world and then explore it through 12 different characters who all come from different backgrounds, who all have different ideas of what Mayhem should be and what the real threat of Legion and how they work together. It's fantastic. It's kind of a writer's dream to be able to tell a story repeatedly through the eyes of different people.
What I want to know is Nolan North going to make a return as Nolan North?
Just Agent Nolan North?
I would love that.
That would work, yeah.
That would work.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty great with a Nathan Drake skin.
If you could
Maybe.
get,
It's
if you could
DLC.
get away with
It's
that.
DLC, right?
Yeah, we'll bring that in later.
Hey, Nolan, if you're watching, let's talk.
Of course he's watching. Everyone's watching.
He's watching everything all the time.
That's probably true, actually.
It's like Watchmen. He just has that huge wall of screens. He's just constantly looking at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Troy Baker have a bunker somewhere, I think, and then just
I think
Someone
that
needs a
part's
voice
true.
actor.
yeah.
You're in.
Yeah.
Hit the button, a trapdoor opens. Yeah.
They go down the voice actor pole,
Yeah,
go to the
exactly.
voice actor mobile, drive to where they're needed.
There's a voice actor cabal out there, I'm sure of it.
There has to be.
Yeah.
There has to be.
So, I mean, what is it? It's going to be current gen?
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, Saints Row 4 obviously came out Xbox 360 and then was brought to Xbox Xbox One and PS4.
Right.
This is going to be like the first title you guys have built.
Yeah, we're building a ground up for the current generation. It's coming out Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
The big three.
The big three.
Has it been kind of a challenge to move on to this new hardware? I mean, because given that this is the team's, from what I understand, the team's first game on the new console generation.
That's right. So, I mean, as a writer, I look at programming and I just nod and say, good job.
That's some numbers.
But I know that I look at the game and I am impressed by the art style. I'm really impressed by how it runs. Creatively, what I really like about this new generation of consoles is last gen, we proved that we could do photorealistic. We proved that we could build worlds that seem like you're inside of it. What really excites me about the current generation of consoles is people are exploring more stylized worlds. You know, and so they're having more fun with the art. Things are becoming, you know, more iconic rather than realistic. And AOM has the freedom to build a really colorful world. So I like that a lot. That's what I really enjoy about the new gen consoles and Agents of Mayhem.
Let's talk about your bad guy who's just popped up on the screen there. So what's his name?
Dr. Babylon.
Dr. Babylon. How far is he away from, like, we had Zinyak in Saints Row 4? He looks more like traditional evil mastermind.
He is. So Legion is broken into different subsets, and in Soul, it's the Ministry of Pride. And Dr. Babylon is the Minister of Pride. He's the top of the org chart. But he brought along with him numerous lieutenants, each of whom are just as colorful as the agents and have their own unique brand of insanity. I like to call Dr. Babylon our monologuer. He is the Bond villain who will just sit there and drone on and on about how brilliant he is while you are escaping the death trap.
Yeah.
And then all the other agents, we have Steel Toe here at E3. He is a transhumanist who wants to transition entirely over to be machine.
Right.
And
well, who doesn't?
And there's a love story. There's a love story in there.
Between him and a machine? Or, really? You're nodding?
I love the fact that we brought a romantic comedy to E3 and it's resonating so hard. But yes, yes.
You know, games really do need more romantic comedies.
They do. We are free to do that. You know, Agents of Mayhem, yes, we're a shooter. Yes, you roam around this open world, but that doesn't mean we can't do some really crazy things. So just tell a love story between, two digital beings.
So, in terms of mission structure, is it going to be like in Saints Row 4? It was what was it? You had like the main mission structure, and then you had like a bunch of side quests, side missions, to do like insurance fraud and stuff. Is it going to be the same this way?
It is. We have a main story that you go through that'll take you through the big arc in your fight against the Ministry of Pride. But Legion is constantly dropping doomsday devices, and they're fighting to maintain control of Seoul. So you will be saving parts of the city. You will be reclaiming parts of the city. It's going to be fun. There's going to be lots to do in AOM.
Can you talk a little about what kind of side quests? Like what would be an example of something you can do outside of the main story missions?
In the demo, we drop a dark matter energy core into the street. And so Legion's advantage, their tactical advantage, is their ability to manipulate dark matter. So they drop this core, and it upsets gravity. And it starts pulling in people walking down the street, cars, even bad guys. And she starts sucking in that part of Seoul, and you have to go shut it down. And so if you don't, then bad things can happen.
Sounds bad. Yeah.
Gravity, I've heard it's important. I don't really know. I have a little bit of experience with it, but not much.
So is your base going to be set in Seoul, and you just kind of pop out? Or is it going to be like a floating spaceship or something? I mean, like, with what you guys have come up with before.
Right. So in Mayhem HQ, which has its own cast of characters, including a lot of people who you're going to interact with through the missions. It's where Persephone Brimstone's located, who's the head of Mayhem, and Friday, her second in command. It's a central location that gives you access to all sorts of encounters with Legion.
Awesome. Well, Jason, do we have a release date for Agents of Agents of Mayhem yet? It's Thursday.
Yeah, I do. It's going to be GameSpot exclusive. It's 2017.
2017. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh,
I have one final question for you.
Sure.
Who would win in a fight? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agents of Mayhem?
You really? You're going to ask?
You're going to do this?
I had to. Listen, I've got
Powered by Airhead Bites, Agents of Mayhem is going to trash Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You heard it here first, folks.
In 2017. And for more coverage from this year's E3, of course, make sure you stay tuned to GameSpot.com.